press the live button. So we are live here on the Dingus Den for a new episode of the Comic Den. Continuing doing this podcast here. We got John here from Nerd Reactor. Welcome in here. We're here to talk about Secret Wars, Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars. So very excited to get into that. Especially as that's going to be very big, for the MCU going forward, isn't it? So big stuff going on. But without further ado, I know, right? Anyway, without further ado, let's hit that intro and get into it.
Welcome to the Dingus Den.
Alrighty.
Oh, you buy from UK and have it shipped to you.
Yes. Anyway, yes. We were just talking about during our segment bit the Switch 2, as that's why somebody here was late. But anyway, welcome in everybody. We're here to talk about Secret Wars in a bit. But also, I want to make just a couple PSA announcements before we get into it. We're changing up the show a little bit. We decided we're going to cut out the news segment just in efforts to make the show a little shorter. But also, we're no show next week, as next week is Easter Sunday on 4/20, which is funny. But just wanted to share those out. But we'll be live. We'll be hopefully back the week after.
You know what we're going to be talking about the week after?
I have ideas. I meant to talk to you. I mean, I've had ideas. My thought was on the week after we come back, because it's the week before Thunderbolts, we could do something Thunderbolts related, I think. Let us know, chat, if anybody has any... here's the thing, is I have lots of, any recommendations or stuff people would like to see us cover as well, I'd be... I'm open to suggestions as far as what to cover, but... Yes, so the week after we come back, that would be the week before Thunderbolts, which I think would be a good time to cover something Thunderbolts. And then Taco Cat here, welcome in Taco Cat. The week after is May 4th. We should cover something Star Wars here on that day.
Yeah.
And so we should figure
out... The Acolyte.
Oh, gosh. They did do an Acolyte one shot. I didn't read that. Did you read that, Steve?
I believe so. We could talk, if you've read it or you can find it. We should read, or we should talk about the old Legends comic book, Dark Lords of the Sith.
You know what? I'm down for it, and maybe that's what we'll do, because I'm sure it's on Marvel Unlimited. They have I think they have about all the Dark Horse.
I believe it is. I haven't checked because I actually own that. So.
All right, hold on. I gotta check here. We gotta check here, but that's my idea for the next couple of shows. Nothing set in stone yet, but that's my idea. Is I'd like to do something Thunderbolts leading up to the Thunderbolts movie, and then come on, with the Sunday being May the 4th, or on our show day, we got to do something Star Wars. So,
of course,
especially with how big of a presence it does have, and Tales of the Jedi, Dark Lords of the Sith, right here. Yeah, it's here.
Yeah. Okay.
So maybe that's what we'll do. We'll figure it out. But something Star Wars, we're for sure we got to do something Star Wars. So we're gonna.
That's a good one. That's probably one of my favorite Star Wars comics.
Yeah, well, it was on your. If I remember right, it was on your list, or at one point it was on your list for our premiere episode where we talked about our favorite.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
I think it was on that list. So.
Yeah.
So yeah. But anyway, how have you been, John? How are you doing?
Good. Yeah, just lots of stuff.
It's a busy time. That's for sure. Busy time. And so, absolutely. So, anyway, I'm working on getting first bit here set up, but we have talk about anything that we've read recently. Obviously, we've all recently read Secret Wars that we're about to talk about here very shortly.
It's been a couple of weeks since I read it, actually.
I was fresh in your memory, right? A couple weeks?
It'll come back to you.
I remember enough.
Enough. Fair enough. I mean, come on, it's Secret Wars, you know? So,
Yeah.
but yeah. So, but anyway, anything that anybody else has read over the last couple weeks? Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of reading
Yeah?
this week.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
You've probably done a lot more than me then. I mean, I've read a couple things, but not as much as I would have liked to.
My pull list this week was pretty large. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 comics on my pull list. So I read those.
Yeah.
And then I also read, so I read volume 1 of The Ultimates.
Nice.
That was called Fix the World. And then I read volume 1 of Ultimate Black Panther. And then I think I talked about this last week, but I finally got around to reading volume 1 of Birds of Prey by Kelly Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
That was called Megadeth.
Nice.
Good title.
Nice.
And then I read volume 1 of Punisher Max by Jason Aaron.
Okay.
And then speaking of Jason Aaron, I read Thanos Rising.
Ooh.
That's like his origin one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've read that one. Yeah, I own that.
Very interesting.
It is a very interesting take on Thanos' origin.
Yeah.
All those are great that you read?
Say that again?
All of those have been like great for you?
Yeah. Yeah, they were good. So a lot of the reviews on that Thanos Rising, a lot of them were like totally dogging the artwork, and I'm like, I don't really have a problem with this artwork. I thought it was good.
Yeah. That's one of the earlier comics I actually picked up. Like, for anybody that watched our first episode, and like my approach to the comics was I picked out a lot of comics that like meant something to me in some regard, you know, and like you know, the true standouts. And the last one that I did was Infinity Gauntlet. As I was like the first comic I read, and that I think just, you know, that really got me into wanting to read some comics. And so and from there, what I read was a bunch of different Thanos stuff. And so that was actually one of the trades that I got earlier on, because that was technically like his origin, you know, and so like collecting more and more of that Infinity trilogy and collecting like some bits there, and collecting Infinity was actually one of the early stories that kind of ties into this a little bit.
Yeah.
So
I had finished reading that Punisher Max, and then Thanos Rising was recommended because it was Jason Aaron, and I'm like, yeah, sure, why not?
I didn't realize Aaron.
Jason Aaron has actually done some pretty cool stuff. He did some of the Krakoan era X-Men stuff, if I'm remembering correctly.
Jason Aaron?
Yeah, I want to say he did. Now I can't remember. Crap. I know he did some Star Wars. I know he had a hand
right.
on
He did a bit of Star Wars. Yeah.
Man, now I can't remember what it was on. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else.
Well, it's funny you bring up Krakoa and X-Men stuff, because actually something that I was actually just reading just earlier today, after I finished reading up on today's main topic. I actually went back to reading the Excalibur Krakoan X-Men series here, because the thing I read before that was actually I have it right beside me here, is I own these first 2 issues of X Lives of Wolverine, and then the first issue of X Deaths of Wolverine. And so that's the miniseries that goes back and forth. And so I ended up, I reread X Lives. I didn't read X Deaths before. And then since I have Marvel Unlimited, I just read through the rest of them there. And so, and because of that, that's one of the 2 main reasons why I was like, you know what, I kind of want to read more of this Krakoan X-Men stuff. So I was like, let's give Excalibur another shot. So I ended up reading, because first time I tried reading that Excalibur, I wasn't really necessarily a fan of it, but then I went back to it and I was like, you know what, it's not bad. I'm liking it now. Like, it's not great, but like I'm liking it now. So
Yeah. Yeah, some of it is really good, but some of them is quite frankly dog shit. Yeah, Jason Aaron didn't have anything to do with that. I must have been thinking of somebody else. Now I can't think of who I was thinking of. But Jason Aaron's done some pretty good stuff.
Yeah. One other thing I have is I just ended up picking this up. I don't have it right beside me. I'd have to go to the other side of my room to get it. But what I have, though, is I ended up picking up this trade that just came out this week. Spawn Godslayer, which collects the full mini-series. And, yeah, pretty cool. Because this is a series that I think came out in 2007, and it hasn't really been collected before, I think. And so, cool to see it all together there.
Yeah.
So
I haven't read this all, but I did receive this, and I showed it on last week's episode.
Oh,
Double Nerd Radio. But
look at that!
I got this.
The Hush Saga. That's fantastic.
It is the omnibus of Hush, and this could kill somebody.
Right?
That thing is huge. Yeah, it's. I
didn't know
I've been wanting that ever since I saw it. When I was living in Michigan, we were at a. Actually, that wasn't when I was living in Michigan. It's when I took a trip up there for Christmas. We were in a comic book shop, and I saw it in that comic book shop, and it was like $150. I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, but I want it. And I was like, nah, I'm not going to do it. And I put it on my Amazon thing. And a week or two ago, it popped up and said, hey, this is on sale. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's how Amazon will get you, especially most of my personal Amazon list is comics and such.
Yeah.
I don't have, I'm trying to think of what else I really have there, because it's like,
that thing is so huge, and and Hush is awesome. So
yeah, it's a great story. So that's awesome. Anything else? Anything you have read recently, John?
No, I've been just watching movies and shows. So the thing that's not the Comic Den.
Yeah.
What's the last movie you saw in the theater?
Oh, there you go.
The last movie I saw was not in the theater though. It was just online. So it was. My mind's a blank because I just did an interview. It feeds, starring Sean Ashmore, who was Iceman in X-Men, and Ashley Greene, who was in the Twilight films. And that's a horror movie. So it's got some interesting concepts.
Oh, it just came out. I see.
So you haven't seen the movie in the theater in a while?
The last movie I saw in a theater would be The Legend of Ochi, and I'm not sure if that's out yet. So it was a media screening.
I think that's out in like 2 weeks.
Which one?
Legend of Ochi.
Legend of Ochi? That one. I don't know if I can talk about it yet, but I think I can. I like it. So I really like it.
All right.
I go to the theater a lot.
Oh yeah. So what was the last movie you saw then?
Friday night I went and saw The Amateur.
Ooh, how was that?
I liked it. It was really good.
Yeah. Here on the screen, I have what Legend of Ochi is. Upcoming A24 film, April 25th. So in just under a couple weeks from now, maybe it's opening weekend. So
yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, I had no idea what I was getting myself into with this movie. It's weird. Willem Dafoe is like kind of like this de facto father figure of these kids that are hunting the Ochi.
Okay.
And you got the girl like at the center of that poster. She befriends one, so it kind of reminds me of like an ET story, like trying to protect this baby Ochi.
I'll have to check this out.
Yeah.
Nice. I like it.
And I like the use of practical effects and puppetry for the creatures.
All righty. I like it. I dig it. That's cool. I'll be sure. Is this playing the trailer here? Oh, yeah.
One in the foe. Look at him. We gotta hunt these creatures down.
Nice. All right. Well, that's cool. I'll have to add that to my radar. I'd like to check it out. Speaking of A24, they just came out with that Warfare film. I'm curious on that one. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
I have not seen a trailer for it, but I did see a poster at the theater when I went and saw Amateur.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one, people are saying it's good, but then people are really saying Sinners is good with.
Oh yeah, I really want to see that next week.
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah. Next week.
And Haley Steinfeld.
Oh yeah.
Two Marvel characters. There you go.
There we go. Coming full circle.
Bring it back to the comics.
Bring it back to the comics. Yes. All right. Well, along with bringing it back, we can. Well, I'll get into what me and Steve are pulling this week, since there's some stuff to look forward to.
Mine's kind of short this week.
You do, and we share one of the same titles too. But the one we don't share, I think, is up first, and that is this one. So that one that you that's on yours.
That was mine, yeah.
Yes.
That was bloody.
Yeah, just a little bit. It's kind of an interesting hand there. Do you know whose hand that is? It's kind of a weird question to ask out of context here.
Try to guess.
I don't know.
All right.
Find
out next week. Find out next week whose hand that is, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't
know. This cover would never pass the comic code.
Comic code, what's that?
That's still a thing.
I want to say no, but you know what? I could be wrong.
Somebody will bring it back.
Somebody will bring it back.
Government, hey, this is too violent. These kids should not be reading this.
Yeah, I don't know. Times are different now, you know.
Yeah,
that's for sure. But anyway, what else we got here? Next up this is on mine, New Gods, featuring Justice League Unlimited. This has been a really good show. Personally, really enjoyed it. So
I'm digging the artwork. Who's the artist?
I don't remember this cover artist. It's been good. It's good. Definitely a good jumping on place for New Gods, though. It's worth reading.
What the hell's Green Lantern looking at?
Who knows? All right. Next up is something on both me and Steve's list. Absolute Flash. We talked about Absolute Flash. 2 weeks ago? Right. Yeah. That was a show you weren't here for. What? Right. That was 2 weeks. Yeah. Because last week was Super Guy. Be sure to check out Super Guy on Kickstarter. Still has 1 week left. So there you go.
So that guy's not the comedian.
No, that's Captain Cold there.
Oh wow.
That's
Captain Boomerang. I don't know who these other two are. Do you know these other two?
I have no idea. I don't recognize them from the last issue.
Captain Balls.
They were there. They're Captain Balls. Take these balls. But yeah, this is like the Flash's Rogues Gallery that they're fighting. That he's fighting.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see the main Flash here is Wally, and so you can see Wally in the background there. So very cool.
He's got that the new Gen Z hair.
The new Gen Z hair. Yeah, there you go. It's having to appeal to everybody now, right?
Yep.
So also on my list is Wolverine issue 8, which is a legacy issue 400. So it's a special sized Wolverine issue. Talking about that's I think the end of this big Wolverine arc, the first Wolverine arc, and it has a special backstory before it. We got King Spawn issue 44. Looking forward to seeing more of what's from this King Spawn story. Also on my list is Deadly Tales of Gunslinger Spawn, where this has been interesting. They've been doing a bunch of new stuff with Gunslinger Spawn, and so they made another series of about his past, and you're now getting a more traditional King Spawn story. Or not King Spawn, Gunslinger Spawn.
You like your Spawn?
Yes, I do. So, and then there's 2 other issues that's not on my list, but I want to highlight them. We have, first off, the Summer of Superman special coming out this week.
Oh, wait a minute. Why is that not on my list?
I need to pull this one myself as well. So
Unlimited adventure. That's a lot of adventure.
yeah, right.
Well, because it's got I mean, it's Mark Wade, but it also has
Dan Slott
Dan Slott on it. So
and Joshua Williamson. So it has everybody you want on it.
Yeah. Okay. Where's it at? There we go. Let me get it. Let me pull it. Ugh.
Put it on my list.
Okay.
Now.
You're welcome, Steve.
I don't know why that's not on here. Maybe I added Superman Unlimited, but not this one.
Superman Unlimited, I made sure to just add to my list. I literally just let my comic store know, like, hey, I want Superman Unlimited and I want Marvel's Imperial. Because those are two things.
I definitely want Unlimited because I am a
Dan Slott.
I am a fan of Dan Slott, and
that's big.
Unapologetically a fan of Dan Slott.
Yeah, that's big.
His run of Spider-Man was fucking amazing.
His 10+ year long run. How did that go for?
Exactly.
All right, and one more
regulars at your comic shop.
Yeah. So well, Steve gets his stuff
digitally,
but do they recognize you like at whatever place you go into every now and then, Steve?
Oh, I go to Speeding Bullet like very frequently. I don't only buy digital. Most of my stuff is digital because
sure.
I mean, what I do at Speeding Bullet, that's where I go and get my trades.
Got you.
So there are specific like single issues that I like the Absolute Batman stuff. I've been buying those issues.
Oh yeah, because you have to have those.
Yeah, I've been buying those physically, and I've been buying the Hush, the Hush 2 stuff.
Oh yeah, nice.
But I do. I still support my local comic book shop in other ways, but mostly I don't buy physical because of room.
Mm-hmm.
That's just out of my rooms, just for my books.
If I bought everything I own on physical, I wouldn't have room for anything else.
You need the Indiana Jones warehouse.
I really do.
Yeah,
there you go.
I do.
Or if we could just store like our comic room in like a TARDIS or something like that, like just open it up and like boom, there's your big room of comics.
What I should do is buy a shed for the backyard and just fill it up with comic books.
Make it like a special reading room. Just go there. Yeah. That's your space where you can just chill and just read.
Yeah. I mean,
one chair and one light.
I'm making a serial killer shed now. Come on.
Maybe that will entice you to read. Like, okay, I'm gonna read. Please don't hurt me.
Yeah, there's just so much out there.
That's true.
See, maybe I need that.
There you go. That's funny.
But yeah, please support your local comic book shop.
Absolutely. Well, what's important is May 3rd is Free Comic Book Day, so I know we'll be talking about that.
So I will be going there. Let me. Am I able to share on here? I don't remember if I can or not.
Taco Cat's plan to go into his comic store next month, so that's cool. What's your? Yeah. You probably have several in your area, John.
Yeah,
I
have
imagine.
Several, but I've not just put my foot in the door like recently.
Yeah. One other comic that's coming out this week that I just wanted to highlight as well, and something that may actually catch your eye here, John, is Godzilla vs. Hulk.
Okay,
now I got to read this because I'll be pissed if the Hulk wins.
It's Jerry Dugan too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nice.
They actually, we're not doing the news segment, so I'll just mention it here that they're actually doing a Godzilla versus the Marvel Universe miniseries that they just announced. So not only are they doing this series of 5 or 6 one-shots against different characters or teams, because I think after this it's Godzilla versus X-Men, I think. And 2 weeks ago they came out with Godzilla versus Fantastic Four, which still am planning on doing a video of that one at some point. But yeah, just want to bring that up. Is there any other sort of stuff? Like I know, like you read some stuff every now and then, like here and there, John. Is there any sort of stuff like in general that you're kind of like wanting to read?
Like on my to-do list.
Yeah, like anything that's on your reading list that you're like, well, yeah, that's something I'd like to go check out. Yeah,
Not right now.
not right now.
But the stuff you're talking about now, I'm like, I guess, no, it's actually inspiring me to like, I need to read more. So.
There's never a lack of stuff to read across
Yeah.
literally any medium as well, you know. This is funny.
There's actually a comic store right close to me right now. I'm like,
That's
wow,
awesome.
I didn't even know about this place.
Yeah, the one I go to, it's a very it's a small like mom and pop store,
Mhm.
and so like it's the owners there are great, and yeah, it's a cool place. Steve Spawn, Steve number 2 says, "God help that universe." Talking about Godzilla and Hulk there.
Yeah.
And
The whole Earth's gonna die.
and Matthew says Hulkzilla. Yeah, exactly. God help that universe. They're fucked when it comes to Godzilla. I'm curious to see how this turns out though. Especially this year too, they're coming out with the second Godzilla vs. Kong versus Justice League, or maybe it's the other way around. Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong 2, where all the kaijus are coming back, and this time King Ghidorah is there, and so we'll see what happens there. So, but yeah. Anyway, now that we've talked about stuff that we're looking forward to, let's now get on to the main topic of Secret Wars.
Secret Wars.
Yeah, Secret.
What is that?
I know, right? Just a little thing, you know. It's not like there's, people have been talking about it or anything, with a little movie coming out, and what was it, slated for 2 years?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Godzilla Doomsday.
Godzilla Doomsday.
May 2027.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, so just a little movie coming out that nobody's probably ever heard of, But yeah, I mean that's the thing though. Is like it's a very relevant story to talk about, especially doing this episode now to just kind of like point back to of like, hey, yeah, we've already talked about this, right? With just more people. As it gets more and more light shine on it, and as we learn more and more about what's going to be happening with that movie and how it's going to relate to the Secret Wars. Important to say, though, too, there's been at least 3 other Secret Wars that's happened as well. But this is the main Secret Wars that I think the movie's going to be based from. They have said, Russo's have said that there's going to be elements of all the Secret Wars. Like, I think they specifically meant the first main Secret Wars as well, which makes sense. And I could see how there'd be some elements of it, but I feel like the main Secret Wars they'd be basing it off of is this one. And so we'll see what happens with it.
Yeah, I can't really see them doing the 1980s as a movie.
Like, there's some elements that I could see them pulling, but we'll just see what happens,
Yeah.
But like, obviously, what we know with Doom and everything's going on, and kind of where it's going with the name Secret Wars, it just makes sense that this is the one that it's going towards,
Yeah.
And so something I wanted to bring up that I'm gonna try to find here is I haven't read. Have you previously read the Avengers run that led up to this? Jonathan Hickman's Avengers?
I did not, but now I want to.
I know, right?
But I'm also seeing how many books comprise it, so I'm like, I don't know.
But it's Hickman.
That's a lot of reading.
It is a lot of reading.
Complaining about a lot of reading.
I mean, yeah, no, it's definitely something that looks like it would be a really good read.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's stuff that ties into it that seems pretty cool. With especially like having shortly before this there was that big Infinity event I name drop, which I think happened like a year before Secret Wars, and I particularly remember like Infinity being one of the big events that as it was coming out was like something I heard about, like, wow, like this is a big thing that's coming out because it has Thanos and everything, and it came out the same year when Guardians of the Galaxy came out, when I was starting to like read into some of this Thanos stuff, and so like that was a big deal when that dropped. I remember one of the people that kind of like exposed me a little bit to comic, or I'm not going to say he exposed me, but somebody I talked to comics about a tiny bit early on, and he let me borrow some stuff of his earlier on. I remember him specifically told me about Infinity back then, and so
again, for you digital readers, you can get the entire collection of Time Runs Out on Comixology.
yes,
It's called Avengers Time Runs Out Collection, and it has Avengers 35 through 44 and New Avengers 24 through 33, and I think that is the whole thing. Maybe.
I think that's the first main story arc. I could be wrong, or is that right? Or the one before? I don't know. There's something there. That's it. There's a bit to it, but I want to read it. It's on my reading list. Actually, something I want to do. Hold on. What the hell is this reading list? Hold on. Now that you bring this up, I've shown this somewhere. Oh, I know where it is. I've pulled this up before on like 2-3 shows ago. But there is where the hell is this that I have? Hold on. I have it somewhere. Here we go. Here we go. This is what I'm wanting to show here is this Jonathan Hickman reading Marvel Saga Order for everything that he's done since the beginning up to.
Okay, Time Runs Out. That's the one.
Send that image to me.
Yes, I will do that right now. So, but yeah, so this includes all this stuff here. So specifically, though, we can see Time Runs Out. I thought Time Runs Out was this first one here, like Avengers World, as they're calling it.
Yeah, Time Runs Out is over here.
Is that one? Wait, what issues is that comprised of? Maybe that is this one. I don't know which one it is.
No, it says Time Runs Out.
Time Runs Out on the right side.
Oh,
yeah, right there.
Right there.
right before
blind.
Secret
I'm
Wars.
blind.
Yeah.
Yes. So Time's Run Out is what leads up to all this.
That's not terribly daunting.
Yeah, I mean,
it's daunting, but at the rate that I read.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. Especially if you break it up, like say you read one section, you read something else.
Honestly, I could probably finish that in a week.
Oh, all of that?
Yeah. I read a lot of comics.
Okay. Yeah.
And I read fast.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
I like to absorb everything because I'm terrible at just the information. Like reading a book, I'm like, what happened?
My problem is getting to it.
Yes.
Once I sit down and read, then I can just blast through it. But it takes me a while to get to it.
That's my problem as well. Sometimes it's just opening up the book.
I'm telling you, that shed. Strap yourself on a chair with.
But yes, I do think it'd be cool to kind of do something like this, or not necessarily this reorder, but like going through somebody's big order like this. I think cool as well.
Have you guys read Time Runs Out?
No, I have not. I'd like to,
because I heard like if they were gonna, someone's has a theory like if they do like Avengers Doomsday, you're gonna have that.
Yeah,
you're gonna focus on Doctor Doom, and Time Runs Out could be that. And then the Secret Wars one, then you have, Secret Wars.
Well, the big thing I'm curious about is Thanos ends up in a very peculiar situation at the end of Infinity.
Yeah.
And then you find Thanos in a very situation in Secret Wars, which we'll get to shortly. I want to know what in the hell happened to him in these two events here between Time Runs Out and Incursions and whatever. Mm-hmm. Probably mainly Time Runs Out, but I'm very curious about what's happened to his character there. So we'll see.
Yeah,
it's on my list though. But yeah, lots of stuff here to check out, and obviously you can tell that there's a bunch of stuff here that's really important. Even that's leads up to aspects of Secret Wars, such as the Future Foundation story arc here. You see, this is Future Foundation 1 through 23, and his run on Fantastic Four, which his run to Fantastic Four is what introduced the idea of Incursions.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, send me that link too.
All right, I got it. Both of you all right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like 2009 to 2016, and then Steve, you're saying you're gonna read that in a week. So years of his life, you're just gonna read in a week.
I'm just saying, I can read fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. So anyway, what
faster, Hickman. I need more content.
I feel like Hickman writes a good bit. He's right now putting out a Aliens vs Avengers miniseries, which is quite interesting. And so I would recommend. Why the heck is? Oh, there we go. That's why. But yeah, I'm sending that to you all now. But yes. All right. Anyway, so what I have here is there's a couple of pages I want to highlight from the Free Comic Book Day. This is the most important part because we're talking about stuff that led up to this. What I really liked about these 2 pages in particular here is that it highlights like what was going on before everything happened here, leading up to Secret Wars. And this at the time, it was a Free Comic Book Day issue, and I know in the physical trades it says it includes this story here, but in particular, this here, it illuminates that it talks about with the Illuminati. They discovered that universes were colliding, and like they all try to save these universes to prevent the incursions, and eventually unthinkable destroying worlds. So like they've known this incursion threat has been a big problem. It's something, like I said, Hickman's been doing for a long time. As like I said, Hickman introduced this idea of incursions with his Fantastic Four run. And so like this whole Secret Wars event has been something he's been slowly been building to however long since at the very least his Fantastic Four came out. But anyway, it just talks about that everyone was just splintered, failing. In their absence, there's something took their place, the Cabal, which is like the Black Order, and Terrax is there. Maker's involved there as well, as we see. And so they've turning everything upside down in and out, including these people who had once been colleagues of friends. And so, like, for example, too, once we get into the story, we see that Doctor Strange is with Doom. So
he's like the sheriff.
Yeah, they call him the sheriff. He's like Doom's right-hand man, which is interesting. And so I'm very curious to read that. That's something else too. Is I've wanted to read. I've wanted to read some like Doctor Strange stuff as well. There's a couple runs I've looked at, particularly that I'm like, yes, I want to read that one.
You know, the one thing about this story arc that I thought was kind of silly was the Thor police force.
Oh yeah.
Well, you see, I actually kind of liked that idea because if you're not, I don't know if you know, but there's something called the Thor Corps, and it kind of felt like a expanded idea of that. And I like the Thor Corps. Do you
the Green Lantern Corps type?
I mean, it fit the story. I just thought it was kind of silly.
Everyone has to have that same Thor outfit.
This is the Thor Corps. I actually own the trade of this series, and so this is something I enjoyed. And so, to an extent, it kind of gave me this vibe of like, oh, they're doing Thor Corps but expanded.
Yeah.
Now I'm not necessarily crazy over like what their name was in this. I don't remember what it was, but like, it kind of gave me this vibes of like, hey, this is the expanded version of the Thor Corps, which this is something I am particularly liked.
But yeah, I mean, it's on the same level of silliness as Sheriff Strange.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Every time I read this, I'm like, are they going to do this in the MCU?
See, that's a good point. They do a bunch of things to where, while I'd like them to do some cool comic references like what they do here, I feel like they're not really going to do really much of this, because I feel like the point of it in the comics here is that, so Battle World, which issue was it where they have that? Hold on. Let me pull up something here. Where I'm trying to find this.
What are you trying to find?
I'm trying to pull up the map of Battle World. But anyway, the map of Battle World, though.
Yeah, I remember the map.
There's a big map, but what's cool about all these regions of stuff of Battle World, though, is that each like area, it's pulled from a different Marvel multiverse.
Yeah.
And so what's really cool about this, though, is each of these multiverses, though, is they were established multiverses here that you can see in this map.
That map in the comic book was like the most Hickman thing. One of the most Hickman things about this book. I'm like, there it is. Like every time he reads, he's got like this like backstory information like in text and those like if you've read any of the Krakoa stuff, you're just like, okay, more of this, huh?
It does. It's kind of weird. Like, I don't know if I'll like that stuff or not. I haven't decided if I do or not.
It does help
Sometimes
with background information.
Sometimes
This
it's like
map,
I could see
this
it.
map I found very interesting. I was like,
Yes, this map is very interesting. I agree, because you have a bunch of stuff with Battle World here, where you just see a bunch of different aspects here of it. And
wait, so I got a question. Okay, where's the wall at? Where's the shield?
That's down here. That's
line
down
right there.
There.
Yeah. Everything south is the shield.
Yeah, that's where you have the Deadlands here, Perfection, New Xandar. Yeah, that's all those.
But I think Hickman also does this sort of thing to help clear things up. Like, I know in the Krakoan stuff, he would do stuff like he would pop these things in there because you like, I don't know about anybody else, but for me, I'm like at a certain point in the reading, I'm like, I don't understand what the hell is going on. And then he pops these little things, and you're like, oh, okay, I got it now. I got it. It's just like, okay, I need to explain what this means. Like,
yeah,
these different groups of people. Okay, this is why this happened. It's like, oh, okay. But
his writing style is definitely kind of interesting, you know. But I think it's something it works with his Secret Wars story here, with how expansive it is, and you know, there's a lot to it. And something that actually me and John were just talking about this a little bit before the show is that, you know, there's a lot of stuff that happens in this universe that isn't necessarily elaborated on, but you can see here, though, this actually isn't even the best image to show of it, as this is the first one where they start showing these, but there's a bunch of tie-ins that happens here. Now, if we go to like a later issue, there's a lot more tie-ins into Secret Wars, which is absolutely insane, the amount that's in here. And it makes me curious of like if any of these tie-ins are actually kind of like worth reading to look into some of the events that happens with it. Because at one point, all the heroes that survive, they split up. And okay, that's not the one I was looking for. They split up, and that's where kind of doing their own thing, and it's not really elaborated where what really they do. You kind of just see them there in some sort of new situation. You don't really see them there at all.
Yeah.
Okay, why can I not find it now? Or is it just not here? But anyway, yeah, Battle World is a big thing. There's a bunch of different tie-in stuff here, which is interesting.
But yeah, Hickman stuff can get confusing.
Yeah, there's a lot involved with this, that's for sure.
Not as confusing as, say, Grant Morrison.
Oh wow. Writing styles, you know.
Yeah.
All right, anyway, let's start going through a little bit with where the first issue. What's going on in the first issue, though? As there's a bit of stuff going on here with it.
Well, I mean, that's basically the lead, you know, the lead up.
Right. We got the big lead. You know? Yeah. So let's just go like how does Battle World even happen, right? And this is kind of one of the two main reasons as to why it happens is we see here there's stuff going on with Doom, Doctor Strange, and we find out the other guy is Molecule Man. Where, you know, what's funny about this is,
and they've got, don't forget the Beyonders.
The Beyonders, yeah.
Beyonders are here. Well, they don't reveal that until a bit later, though.
Yeah.
Oh well, they do talk about them here. Right? They're referenced here.
Yeah.
They give you. They don't explicitly show or describe specifically what happens here until.
See, and that's the tie-in to the original Secret Wars, because the Beyonder was a huge thing for those stories.
Well, if I remember right, for the original Secret Wars, the whole reason why they're there is because the Beyonders all brought them there because they were essentially bored and wanted something to happen.
Well, at that time, it was just one Beyonder.
Yes. Yeah. You're right.
And then in the second, and then Secret Wars 2, that's when the Beyonder comes to Earth.
See, I need to read that one. I should read that. I hear it's not as good, probably. You know, the only reason why it happened was because Secret Wars was so big when it came out. They were like, hey, the company that owned Marvel, or the parent person, whoever owned Marvel was the brand that time, was like, this sold amazingly well. You got to do a sequel. So that's the only reason why Secret Wars 2 happened.
Yeah.
The writer himself said that he didn't necessarily want to do a Secret Wars 2, but he just kind of had to because
So
it sold
money.
all about the money, right?
Kind of off topic, but not really, because you have this picture up here.
Yeah.
I don't know what like the main consensus was, but I really like the artwork in this book.
It's a very interesting art style. Who's the
Different,
artist of this? Because I think it's the same artist actually does. It's the same sort of art style in the Aliens vs. Avengers series. Let me look into who the artist is here.
Isad.
Isad Ribic.
Yeah. He did.
Yes.
He did some work on Thor for a while, I think.
Oh my god! Yes, didn't he do Jason Aaron's Thor for a bit?
Yes, he did.
That's
Jason
what
Aaron's.
I was thinking of as well. Yeah, the moment you said that, I could just visualize some of that stuff with Thor. Yeah.
He also did Jason Aaron. He did King Thor.
Okay. Yeah, I need to read more of this stuff there too.
So this artwork it's just like you said, it's very interesting.
Oh,
also
he's done a lot of the Conan stuff.
Yeah, Conan, Exodus. He worked on the recent Eternal series. Worked on did it a tiny bit of Civil War 2. See, there's some parts where he just did parts of it, like I said, Civil War 2. I'd imagine though he's kind of one of those artists like Alex Ross, where his art style in particular just kind of takes longer to put together because of how, it has a unique vibe to it. Like, let's see if I can find, like, if there's any pages that, like, really highlights his art here. But, like, just in general, when you can look at it there and kind of just tell how special it is, I feel like. These pages are cool, too. You see the full cast of everybody here. And so here you specifically see the Illuminati, Avengers, Fantastic Four, X-Men, Guardians are involved here, Humans, 616, Cabal. So, a bunch of stuff there. See, this story after revisiting it has actually made me want to read some of the Ultimate Universe stuff, like the old Ultimate Universe. I've never had like that big of an interest to it, but the biggest thing is I'm actually really curious about is this Fantastic Four character here of Reed Richards. aka Maker, because I actually really like him as a villain, and I kind of like want to know more of that, his story of how he became that way he is here. So I'm kind of curious of but I'm also curious of the situation with Iron Man. I found Iron Man's character, as brief as it was in this first issue, or not brief, but only his presence was really only here for the first issue. I found what was going on with his character interesting. So, but yeah, there's just so much stuff here. So yeah, we see there's like a big battle between the Earths as it's the final incursion, as all that's left is the main 616 Earth.
Yeah.
And was it 1610 for the Ultimate Universe?
Yeah. So I'm thinking like that, like if they were doing the movie, it would be X-Men Fox's verse versus the MCU's Avengers. So I'm just imagining it, like how cool that would be.
See, that'd be crazy though, because then people would get their Avengers versus X-Men fix.
Yeah.
Which that would be just wild to see. But a big theory I know with Secret Wars is supposedly Doctor Doom's trying to save the multiverse somehow, which is he does do here, right? Because as we do find out later of what we're just shown in the picture earlier, the final incursion happens, but the next issue we're introduced to Battle World. And we do later find out how that came about. And what's in, and so much of the story, I think you could just easily say is summarized in the way of it's the people of that world starting to slowly uncover, especially like the higher up people among this world, uncovers really what was going on with the history of Battle World and learning of these different things in it that's from these past universes, and finding out like, well, wait, things that Doom told them as Battle World was a thing for 8 years before these things happen, and just everything kind of falls apart. And yeah, it's really interesting. Actually, do I have it right beside me? I have though. No, okay, it's somewhere on my wall back here. I actually have the white Doctor Doom figure, Marvel Legends figure of like his Secret Wars outfit, and it even includes. I'm gonna have to get this actually. If I can find where it is, it's somewhere back there. But yeah. So, all right. Let's see if there's anything main here in issue 2 I specifically want to highlight. So yeah, I mean, we start seeing like how people from the previous worlds come in. We were talking earlier about the Cabal as they came out here, and this was like what really made me interested in these people of or making me really want to read more of that Avengers run, is because I really like the Black Order and Thanos, especially, as one of my favorite Marvel villains. And so seeing how he even ended up with the Ultimate Universe or whatever, and now being the survivors here, and killing one of these Thors too, like the King Thor there, right? Isn't that like what that one version is, or something like
Yeah,
that?
the one with the one that's been talking a lot and helping out the
Yeah.
younger Thor.
Yeah, say the Thor police force there, yeah.
Thor Corps.
The Thor Corps. yeah, the vibes I get from it, the Thor Corps. So, but yeah, I thought that was an interesting way of just peeling back the universe and seeing more of it. Definitely a good bit with it there. What issue had the creation of everything shown? Do you all remember?
Everything shown, the creation.
Yeah. There's an issue where it kind of like highlighted how like it specifically told.
Like about the different kingdoms, like
There's an issue that detailed the stuff with the Beyonders that we were just talking about. Do you remember what issue that found it? Found it.
Was it issue 4?
5.
5.
Yeah. See, when you binge read it, it's kind of like which part takes place in which where, you know? And so, but yeah, here though we get to see Doctor Doom goes underneath here as he has this statue to after Stephen Strange pulls his move against him, letting the older heroes that he found escape. We found that Doctor Doom, under his memorial of Molecule Man, actually has Molecule Man trapped in this place here, as he's the one who we now learn absorbed all of the Beyonder's energy. And this is actually something I liked here of Beyonder was a huge aspect of the original Secret Wars, and a lot of people were like, wait, why is Molecule Man like a thing here, against all these other villains here? And actually, when I went to the Secret Wars panel last month at Comic-Con, the original Secret Wars panel, because the writer and a couple of the artists for it were there, it was asked like, well, you have all these notable villains here, but what made you want to put Molecule Man in here, who's at a glance, kind of like why would you put him there? Like he's never really been a big villain. And Jim Shooter, he was just like, he thought he was a cool villain that nobody really expanded upon. So you just want to write and expand on him and make him a big part of that. And here we see Molecule Man in another huge role, or even a bigger role here. Which is quite interesting.
Yeah, he was a pretty big part of the book.
Yeah. And so, and explaining that, yeah, he has the Beyonder's energy. It's where everything all comes from here. And Doctor Doom just talking about like, yeah, you were the bum. Hold on, let me get to the panel here. saying, "You were a bomb meant to simultaneously explode, so we decided to set some of you off early." Yeah, he's a big part of this.
Yeah.
Unlimited power.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, like we even see how it happened here as well with his stuff here with the Beyonders and all that. In the flashback here.
Yeah.
So detailing how exactly Doom came to power. God Emperor Doom here, if you will.
My God.
See, that'd be interesting. You all think we're gonna get the like white Doctor Doom look in Secret Wars? Like surely, right?
Like, okay, you cast Robert Downey Jr. I feel like I don't know if he wants to be hiding behind a mask the whole time.
Yeah.
Or show his face somehow to make their own version of how they want to do it. That's why part of me is like, why? But I'm sad about like Cyclops. I'm just thinking about it. People's gonna hate him more if they try to do it like the books here with just with the Phoenix powers, and then also what happens to him by the hands of Doom.
It'd be interesting, right? Like,
yeah,
I like it. So I wanted to highlight here is I found that it is here. I got my this is my Doctor Doom figure.
Ooh.
Highlighting it's that Secret Wars look, and if you see it there off to the side there, there's the spine there that he pulls out of Thanos' spine there. So, but
is that approved by the Comic Code?
I mean, well, that was such a great moment. I felt like, in particular.
It was very clean too. There's like no blood. It's just a skull.
Let me pull that up here. But yes,
the spinal cord.
Yeah, like what a moment that was, and that's my big highlight for this series in general is it shows how great of a threat Doctor Doom is, but then also just showing his greatest flaws, and that's why things happened the way they did. And so it's really cool. But yeah, here is that moment where he literally just goes right into his. He literally just goes right for his spine there and just pulls it out.
So clean too. Like
yeah, completely clean.
No muscles, no blood. It's like it's been dry the whole time.
And, like I was saying though too, like Infinity was like what led up to this, of where Thanos was the big threat of Infinity, and they were just having a hard time beating him. And we have this whole monologue that Thanos has here, and he's like, "Yeah, I remain Thanos, the great tyrant, and for you that will be enough." He's just like, "Hey, yeah, I am Thanos, so like you don't mess with me." And Doom's like, "No, you're dead."
Yeah, I don't think we'll see Thanos again, like in the movie.
Right.
Just trying to get Josh Brolin again and the money and all that. So I don't know what's an equivalent villain that would stand up against Doom.
See, like,
or they would just
do that though.
Or they would scrap that whole idea altogether.
Yeah, I don't think they do this. Like, there's some great stuff in this that I don't think that they necessarily do. But this is for me one of my highlight moments of just seeing this interaction between. Actually, these are my two favorite Marvel villains, and seeing them. This just the interaction is just like holy crap, seeing Doom like this.
Just
eviscerate. Yeah, he completely obliterates him. Well, something else too with Doom, I don't remember what issue it is, but something else I found interesting was you do see though, it's one of the few times that this has ever happened. Like, I'm not saying it's the only time it's ever happened, because I'm sure it's happened elsewhere. Mm-hmm. But you get to see his full unmasked face.
Oh yeah.
Was that the last issue?
Well, okay, you got to see it twice, but there's one issue around the middle of the series where you got to see this issue, his face all fucked up, like all burned and whatnot in one of the issues, all really scarred. But then in the last issue at the very end, literally, I think it's the ending page, is you see his face like all good now.
Oh yeah. The last one is good, and then the one in the middle, he's talking to Susan, and Susan's like, "Oh, please let me see your face." It's like, "Here you go. Oh, you love it." I'm missing everything.
Yeah. So
it is I, Robert Downey Jr.
That's the thing, though, is I don't know. Well, people were there's some Doctor Doom look I saw that because of like some posts that Robert Downey Jr. put up for either his birthday or somebody's birthday. I think it was his birthday was just recently. I could be wrong, but I think it was just like his birthday, and he put up like a birthday post, and somebody was saying like about this hairdo. They're thinking they're going for a particular Doctor Doom like look or something with like the hair all slick back. Oh, what the hell was that picture that I saw? I'm gonna try to find this now, or else it's gonna bother me. Oh, never mind. Here it is. Because I'm not even sure what this is completely from, but this right here, this Doctor Doom look. They're like, because of his hair of how it is, they think they were trying to go for this, and I'm like, I hope not. I hope not. Yeah. I agree. I hope to God that is not what it is.
But we might get a version of that.
Please.
He might like he has a hood, and then like later on, you know what? I'm tired of his hood. Here's my hair.
Yeah. I hope not. I hope that's not what it is. So yeah. I just want Doctor Doom proper. Is that's what it is? Is my biggest highlight, and it's easy. I won't lie. It's easy for me to say Doctor Doom's the highlight of any Marvel story I read, just because Doctor Doom's one of my favorite villains, and he's just such a great villain, and he's just one of those characters that just always steals the scene or the story for me.
Yeah.
But this story in particular, though, really does greatly. I think does a great way of showing off his character. And he is the big highlight for me, too, in the original Secret Wars for actually very much the same reasons as Doctor Doom does end up not for nearly as long as he doesn't get the power, like the Beyonder like powers until like the last, 2-3 issues there. But like, it's very much the same reasons, though, of you get to explore more of that in a different way, though. But I'd say I like this one more than the original of exploring Doctor Doom's character and really delving into like, this is his weakness. And his flaws when he's given all the power that he needs, that all the power that he's aspired to get. And here we even see him achieve his dream for 8 years. And then everything falls because of the flaws of his character there.
Mm-hmm.
So very, very interesting. So that was my big highlight. Was there any big highlights for you all that you all wanted to bring up? What stuff that you all liked from this? Because there's so much stuff in this.
The stuff I'm devastated is Cyclops dying.
Cyclops' death was big.
It's like, why?
I mean, jumping on the Cyclops thing, I thought I liked the kind of melding of Cyclops and Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
That was quite interesting.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
go on.
Really, I can't really pinpoint one or even two highlights because everything there was just so much.
Oh yeah,
there is so much. Like I was just saying as well as like there's so much you could delve into. It's just Battle World, there's so many different. Do they have a? Hold on, let me see if I can find a Marvel, because Marvel has 2 reading orders. One for the battle zones, I think it's called, or war zones, and then they also have the different stuff for like the war zone stuff. Like there's so much shit that they have here. It's
what's going on here. And I think
Sinister, Bar Sinister. I like that because we actually have a bar in LA called Bar Sinister, and I'm not sure if it's inspired by Secret Invasion. I mean, Secret Wars, but maybe it could be.
Could be.
I wouldn't really say that this is like a favorite part of the story, but I think a key turning point in the story was the death of Sheriff Strange.
Absolutely. That was a huge part, though. Saying that for sure.
Yeah, and how much he meant to Doom. Like,
Yeah. It was just, it was very.
That'd be a good thing to see, like live action, like Robert Downey Jr. And if they do announce, Benedict Cumberbatch, like just them two again.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that'd be really interesting to see. Or even if it's not specifically Doctor Strange, but having it be somebody else, that would maybe make sense to get into it. There's a lot that they could do.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Something. What is this? Oh, that's not what I want.
Ooh, and I'm thinking because this one, Guardians, they're in it. So with the movies, it looks like they're trying to focus on the Thunderbolts. So maybe the Thunderbolts will take over their place.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot they can do. It is funny though, is it's like we're seeing how just crazy stuff gets in this issue, and then we know we're getting stuff like Thunderbolts and Doomsday, so it's like, how are they going to even be able to help at all?
Yeah.
Hey, if Spider-Man can do stuff, which most of the time they're just sneaking around in a ship. Miles,
See,
like,
that's
hey.
the thing though too, is like, yeah, that's the thing though, is like, even those characters, like, they maybe had the biggest presence of your street level heroes in the story, but they don't really have that big of a presence in this story in general, though.
Yeah.
And so, all right, we got a question here from Steve Spawn, aka Steve number 2, just saying, I just wondered your all's thoughts. I know Marvel changes stuff for the movies. Do you think they replace Molecule Man with Scarlet Witch, like Tony replace Hank for Ultron? So who would be
Scarlet,
like who would be the role of Molecule Man?
I was gonna say, everything I've heard and read is that Scarlet Witch won't be back, but that can all be like.
See, here's the thing. I refuse to believe that her character's dead. Like, that's the first thing.
I don't think she is. Yeah.
See, my whole thing is I think she's in hell with Mephisto. It's just having the right time to bring her back.
And to finally bring in Mephisto. So.
Yeah. Like, that's something that they're gonna have to wait for the right time. You know what I am curious about is where the hell is Mephisto in this, like, battle world? You know what I mean? Especially the character of like Mephisto, where Doctor Doom hates Mephisto. I'm curious of where he'd be in this battle world. I don't know. I would like to know that. So, but yeah, that is a very good question though, because it's like there's no one character I can particularly think of like who would take Molecule Man's role in this, especially from the MCU, right? Like,
it would be the closest to be like that volatile.
Yeah, like, I know this is such a lame answer, but it's where my mind immediately goes to when I'm trying to think of MCU characters, especially the characters that are relevant. Well, like the Marvels, like they were able to very easily close that incursion that happened there.
Yeah.
Like the what's her name? Like Photon, like that, like her character. Yeah, I don't know. Like,
what about Sentry?
Sentry could be big. I like where you're going here.
Change it up, because he looks unstable in Thunderbolts. So
Sentry could work.
Yeah, he could.
I like this idea, John. I like it.
Yeah.
I think you're onto something here.
Because why else would the Thunderbolts be in it unless they have one character be like something?
Yeah. See, that is the thing, though. And
they changed Captain Marvel too, so.
Yeah.
Well,
you're like, yeah.
I mean, bouncing off the idea of Thunderbolts, I don't think we still know who the main antagonist is going to be.
Yeah.
And
Well, I think
I don't think Sentry is the main antagonist.
see, I think he is in the third act, but we don't know what's going on to make him be the antagonist is the issue. That's what I think.
I don't see him being the antagonist. I could be wrong.
Because he's gonna join later as part of the team. You know, like it's gonna be like those like they meet him and then they fight, and then something happens and they team up, and then there's a bigger threat.
So yeah, what is that bigger threat, and could that be who's going to replace Molecule Man?
Thunderbolts is going to be an interesting movie. I am looking forward to it, though. That's the thing.
I've already got my ticket.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
that one I'll go Thursday night to my local theater for. So, but
yeah, I've got what do you call it? Like an early pass.
Yeah.
I don't remember what day it is I'm going to see it, but yeah, it's an early pass.
I'm going to go that Thursday. Whatever time I can go that Thursday, I'm going.
Yeah.
I don't care if I'm going by myself or not, but I'm watching Thunderbolts.
Now that I'm thinking about it, what time am I going to see it? Just pull up the old AMC app.
There you go.
Yeah, the chicken challenge.
Okay, I'm going May 1st. I guess that's
going to be a busy weekend.
Thursday? Yeah, Thursday, May 1st, 7 o'clock.
Yep. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, totally. Have you seen the new trailer for it yet?
I don't watch a lot of the trailers and sneak peeks that they do right before it because I feel like some of those get a little more spoilery of stuff.
That's fair. Yeah.
So I try to avoid it, but of course, if anything blows up from it, I see it on my social media anyways.
Yeah, no, there's nothing like earth-shattering.
Right, like I just saw oh, look, it's another look at Sentry or the Void, and it's literally his freaking silhouette where you can't see anything.
Yeah.
Oh, I did get to see footage at CinemaCon, so I was there to watch it as they presented all the stuff, and they had, I don't know if how much you read about it, where the cast came up on stage and Wyatt Russell was pretending he was drunk and gambling and he was losing money, and they're like, "All right, Wyatt, calm down." And some people thought he was really drunk, and it was funny. Not a bit. And they showed the scene of the Thunderbolts. They're fighting with somebody, and they're crashing into the Avengers Tower, which is owned by Elaine.
What a lame! Can we just say what a lame kind of character that has it though? Of all these years of who owns Avengers Tower, you know?
Yeah.
And she's the character that nobody cares about. You know, they're is it Fisk? Is it Fantastic Four? Who is it? You know? And now it's oh, it's her that nobody cares about.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
All right.
Maybe they'll bring in Newman.
Newman.
And then Jerry Seinfeld can come in.
Oh, they did show I don't know if they showed it in a recent trailer, but they showed the fight scene when they're in the lobby of the building, and then each of the Thunderbolts get to use their powers. So it's kind of like watching the first Avengers movie where all of them in one scene, the camera moves around. So
I've heard really good things. I've heard that the early test screening scores for that are really good.
That's good.
We'll see. We'll see. And they're marketing it like it's an A24 movie, which is kind of funny. So we'll see.
Well, the guy directing it, he's done those type of movie because he directed Thief with Steven Yeun. Oh, that's why they were trying to cast Steven Yeun in that. Oh, and that makes sense now because they worked
Yes. Directors like returning talent that they know they can trust. Why do you think so many directors are that way? Going back to the question that Steve number 2 asked, saying, or they could use Doctor Strange as well for that Molecule Man. And this comment here made me think as well that, they could show more of that one. I don't remember her name, but that girl from Multiverse of Madness that travels among the different multiverses.
America Chavez?
Yes. Be an interesting one.
Yeah.
So welcome in Horsey Mart. What's up, Horsey? So, but yeah, that is an interesting point there. It'd be interesting. So, but yeah, let us know, everybody. Are you personally looking forward to Doomsday or Secret Wars? Because for me, I think I'm looking forward to seeing aspects of Doomsday. Like, I'm excited for the original X-Men coming back, but at the same time, I feel like it could be very sloppy, because in that movie, even if it's 3 hours long, it's a lot. They have so much to do in 3 hours to try to wrap up all these loose threads that they're obviously addressing some way or another just from the cast, such as, like, Shang-Chi's there, Namor's there, so many different characters are there. That's connected to these loose threads. So it's like, you can only do so much in 3 hours.
Yeah.
To also lead to Battle World, which, come on, we know that's where everything's leading to. For Doctor Doom to rebuild Battle World here, or to build his Battle World here, for Secret Wars. So, like, I'm looking forward to parts of Doomsday, but I feel like it could be sloppy, but I'm hoping that it's still just a fun watch, solid watch,
Mhm.
But what I'm personally more excited for, though, is even though the road to it may be sloppy, I think there is some real potential, though, at the end of the day now with Secret Wars, now that we're going to get a Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
Maybe the lead up for Doctor Doom won't be that great, but by the point of where we reach Secret Wars, we have the chance to have potentially a great Doctor Doom for Secret Wars. And I am personally looking forward to it, just with the idea of we're actually getting Doctor Doom this time, not Kang. Like, when I heard Kang earlier, I was like, I don't like what they're doing with King in this, because they were trying to, like, give him all the Beyonder powers to rebuild everything. But now they're doing Doctor Doom, which is so much more exciting, I think. And so to see Doctor,
yeah, for sure,
yeah. And so, like, now I'm personally a lot more excited for Secret Wars, of that we could actually see something cool out of it.
We're getting a Doctor Doom. I still don't think we're getting the Doctor Doom.
Right. That's a valid concern. See, that's what I'm saying, is the road to it I'm not looking forward to. But I think by the point in Secret Wars, even if he's a Doctor Doom in Doomsday, by Secret Wars, he's going to be the Doctor Doom, though. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, where I think he would be the main.
You think, really, though?
Why would you have Robert Downey just to be A? I feel like you're going to do a 180. You're going to do a 180.
I just don't. I don't know. I just don't.
I just hope he doesn't show his face much, too. That's the other thing. Is Dr. Doom's
going to upset a lot of people, though. Like, oh, by the way, that's not the real one. The real one is going to be.
Like, is he actually Victor Von Doom?
Let us know, everybody. What do you think about Doctor Doom here in the MCU? Robert Downey Jr. is such an interesting casting. This is the thing, though, is like, everyone keeps on pointing to infamous Iron Man of, like, this is the kind of role he's playing, right?
Yeah.
And I've been calling it reverse infamous Iron Man, because the idea of infamous Iron Man isn't exactly why people are saying that's what they're doing. It's like, no, it's kind of a reverse version idea of it, but whatever. But yeah, we'll see what happens, because I don't know.
But yeah, casting him, it has to be some way connected to Iron Man. Because why?
Right.
Why would you do that?
Well, and that's the thing too, is the Russos have said there is something that happened because of the snap that has an effect on everything, and that's like it's a big part of everything. So, like, we don't know. We'll see. Steve number 2 says, unpopular opinion, I'm not really interested in seeing the Fox X-Men again. That
is.
I know.
I would say that could be unpopular, because I love seeing the whatever X-Men characters we did have in Deadpool and Wolverine. That was great. Like, yes.
Well, what I think was special about that movie was it was celebrating the stories that didn't get a proper end.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say that maybe the one rule to that isn't necessarily true is with X-23, but at the same time, her story was left open, and I personally like seeing her character back.
Yeah. I would say just characters getting more of the limelight that you've missed.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for me, it's like, I would argue the Fox X-Men never had a proper ending. Because
Doomsday will be it.
Yeah, that's what I'm personally looking forward to. It is I'm just happy to see them again. All right, the fact we're getting Ian McKellen back as Magneto is just kind of blows my mind. Of like, I didn't think we'd ever see him back as Magneto again, and both Magnetos we got on screen were fantastic. But personally, I just like the older Magneto more, and Ian McKellen is such a fantastic actor. It's just so exciting that he is back in that role one more time for me. So, like, I'm personally very excited for it to see like I was saying, a proper ending for him is just a big thing for me. Is because there's Last Stand, which isn't that good of a movie, but
What
then
are
they
you
brought him back
talking
in.
about? That was a cinematic
Right.
masterpiece.
But then Days of Future Past happened. That was a great movie, but that just left their story very open-ended, and so seeing them back will be cool. So, and maybe they'll bring back the other X-Men as well. It'd be interesting if we get them as well at some point. So,
Yeah.
something
Check out my interview with Sean Ashmore.
Sean Ashmore, all right.
Yeah, I do ask him whether he's going to be in Avengers Doomsday or not.
You have all this stuff on your YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Everything there? Yeah, so in the description, actually, first link in the description, I do have the link to Nerd Reactor, where you can check out all these different cool interviews and stuff that you do there. And so there's a lot of cool stuff there. So be sure to go check out Jono from Nerd Reactor over there. So, but yeah, that's awesome. For sure.
Yeah.
Something I wanted to bring up as well, since we're like on the topic of the movie, and the big thing is though, is like we kind of touched on this a little bit, but I don't think I fully got to what I was going to say about it, or what I was thinking about it at the time. Was with Battle World, in the comics we get like all these different cool like multiversal places built into it, like the 2099 universe. We have Maestro leading these Hulks, like all these different multiversal ideas is built into Battle World, like stuff that we've seen before, or changes of areas. Like we see Marvel Zombies as one of the outworld lands there, and like the Deadlands, right? And so we see a bunch of cool ideas that we've seen before in this Battle World, but I don't think we're going to get much of that. Like we might see some of that with like what was hinted at in What If, but I think the big thing with Battle World is it's going to be a big celebration of a bunch of these older universes as well built into it. So like the movie version is going to be celebrating the different universes that was shown in the movies, I think. So, wait, you know what that could mean? What if we get Howard the Duck back in this?
Of course you'd want that.
Oh yeah, of course.
He will take the place of Molecule Man.
Oh yeah. Imagine him upside down floating. Like you see the back of the head, and as Dr. Doom's talking, and he turns around, he does whatever his famous quote is.
That's so funny. I love it. Howard the Duck here is going to be Molecule Man. Everybody heard it here first.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. I love it.
Yeah, I'm busy thinking because, like in the movie Doomsday, you're gonna have the Fantastic Four as well. So I was wondering if they do Avengers versus X-Men, if it's going to be Fantastic Four is going to be part of the Avengers team, or it's going to be they're like the third party that's just looking at both of them like, hey, stop fighting, guys.
I would think that, but I do think they'd have an even bigger role in Secret Wars, and actually bring it back to the comics. Something I really liked about this is that it does end up with the ultimate showdown between Reed Richards and Doctor Doom.
Yeah,
which is cool.
So imagine Pedro Pascal just one-on-one.
I hope to God he's a good Reed Richards.
Yeah.
What doesn't help as well for me personally is I really liked the I can never remember his name, but the actor who played Reed Richards in the original early 2000s Fantastic Four.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that guy. He I thought was a good Mr. Fantastic. And
Ian something, right?
Oh, what's his name? Let's see here.
That was
2000.
Ian Gruffud?
Ian Grufford, yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, yeah, like I thought he was a great Mr. Fantastic. And so, and
what about John Krasinski?
I was just about to say, I think he would have made a good Reed Richards.
Yeah. Well, I wonder why they did that. Like, let's tease the fans and then kill them off. Like, F you.
Oh my gosh.
Why?
Don't get me started with how they handled those. that group. I did not like that. But yeah. We'll see what happens though.
Yeah.
So hoping so.
Oh.
What you got?
Wait a minute. I'm not sure if that's a reference to because in the comic, you have Ben Grimm, the Thing, as the Shield.
The Wall,
and in the actor, what's his name? That was the Thing. He was in the show The Shield.
That's such a reach there, but
You think it's a reach?
that's oh my god.
It's like it's a Michael something.
It's so funny. Oh my god! You know, I do hope they treat the Fantastic Four well, though.
Yeah,
We need a proper
Chiklis.
Fantastic
Michael
Four.
Chiklis. Oh, I wonder if Michael Chiklis will like the old school Fantastic Four will show up somehow because of the
Yeah, that'd be
different
interesting if we do.
universes.
That'd be interesting. I'd be down to get as much people. The main one I want, and it. I wish that they could have done the original plan for Deadpool and Wolverine. I don't know if you all know this about Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider was going to be one of the joining the team there. Like, there's a whole concept art, and Ryan Reynolds confirmed that like Nicolas Cage just wasn't interested in doing it.
Oh no.
And so, but I hope though, I feel like there's a bigger chance that he'd come back for Secret Wars because it would be more of a cameo than like a main role. So like I could see him being like, hey, yeah, just come to set one day. Let's cameo you here, you know?
Idea that they might use because they're bringing back M'Baku and all that. So imagine if they see Michael B. Jordan, right? He's like hooded, and you're gonna think he's Killmonger, but he like unleashes the robe, and it's like, no, I am Johnny Storm.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh.
And then he flies up and meets Chris Evans, Johnny Storm, and they both make out and kiss. And the end.
Oh my god. Matthew says they're going to do Fast and Furious. You were family.
Oh boy.
Wait, yeah, someone was making a comment like if they do that, like you have what is it? Yeah, you have Johnny Storm, you have Susan Storm, you have Reed Richards, and then the fourth, instead of Ben, it's going to be Dom. Dom Toretto.
Oh, that's
Steve is not pleased.
No. Oh my
To
god.
be fair, I'm not really a fan of that franchise in general anyway.
A lot of people are not.
I've never gone
It's
into
fine.
it.
I just I'm not
Yeah.
a fan.
Yeah.
A lot of people are, but I'm just I'm not my thing.
Yeah, I get it gets out there. They fly a card in the moon. It's what's happening here?
Well, the Mission Impossible franchise is about to wrap up.
Supposedly. For now.
Final reckoning, yeah.
And when I went to go see The Amateur, they showed a new trailer for that.
Yeah.
And something dawned on me. When are we going to get a Mission Impossible Johnny English crossover?
Who knows? All we know is anything is possible in Secret Wars because multiverse
That is true.
Scapegoat to everything here.
Because I feel like Secret Wars, reading it, like it's just the two main worlds, like 616 and 1610. So I wonder if in the movies we'll get to see more other than the Foxverse and then the Avengers MCU.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh yeah, Fantastic Four, because they're in the other universe too. So 3 different universes.
Well, part of the rumor then, and I think Fantastic Four is going to be an important movie leading up. Obviously, Fantastic Four is important because they're going to be in Doomsday, but also, like the events of that movie is there's rumors that like their world is going to die from an incursion at the end of it. Like, meaning like we're going to actually, it's going to be our like another big glimpse. Like, it's going to be our first main glimpse at the threat of why Doctor Doom's doing what he's going to be doing.
That means we'll see Doctor Doom in Fantastic Four.
I mean, we could get a cameo or a post-credit scene.
Yeah,
I won't put it past them that they'd have a Doctor Doom post-credit in there.
Galactus, at the end of the movie, he's talking to someone like, "I have failed you," and then you see the hood, and it's like, "It's Doctor Doom. It's me. Yes, I'm the mastermind."
Yes.
But yeah, they could do that. Yeah.
There's so much they could do for the movie. I'm hoping that they can pull it off. I'm not one of those haters that like wants them to fail. I've literally grown up with Marvel. I remember being there from pretty much the beginning of just watching all the movies as they've been coming out. And so, like, when I think I remember getting into it was literally with around it was after it was on like DVD when like Iron Man and Hulk came out. At the time, I think I remember seeing a lot of Incredible Hulk on the shelf. So like I was pretty much there right at the beginning when Iron Man was a thing and Hulk came out and watching those. So like, you know, it's something that's very near and dear to my heart. I don't like hating on stuff. I just want them to do a good job with it. You know, obviously with the current state of things, expectations are lowered, but I'm just hoping that we can get a good story. You know, I'm not expecting something great like Infinity War and Endgame, but I just want something good. I want Secret Wars done justice. Will it be as good as Infinity War? I highly doubt it.
Yeah,
Secret Wars done.
It doesn't have to be Endgame. Let's just hope that it's not Eternals.
Yeah,
Turtles isn't that bad. Come on,
it's pretty bad.
All right,
it's bad.
I'm out.
It's bad.
So. I kind of liked it, but you know, whatever.
It's bad.
I don't. Do I want to? I only watched it once, but
now here's the question:
for
which, or for both of you, which would you rather we rewatch, Eternals or Madam Web?
Eternals.
Huh?
One of those I actually liked. So you know.
Oh God.
That's a hard one, isn't it, John?
I would have to choose Madam Web because it's like it's so stupid. It's at least I'll get some entertainment value out of it because it's so bad. Like in terms of just the performances, silliness.
Madam Web starring the Pepsi.
I would actually go with Spencer on this one.
Wow.
I would not watch Madam Web again.
No.
You didn't want to see, what is it, the Coca-Cola billboard, whatever?
Well, you know, there's the Pepsi can that she's always
the Pepsi can. Yeah, it was a
Pepsi
can.
The Pepsi can, you know. Madam Web guest starring the Pepsi can, right?
That movie was just awful.
Yes, no. I'm trying to think if that's the second worst Marvel movie of all time.
The second worst Marvel movie of all time. Yeah, you're forgetting.
Is the first.
First is the Fantastic Four we don't speak of.
Fantastic?
Four stick, yeah.
I would watch that before I'd watch Madam Web.
Really?
Web.
Yeah.
See, I think that's a miserable movie.
See, I go into that movie thinking this is not Fantastic Four. I just go into it going, this is a sci-fi movie.
See, I can't
Kraven the Hunter. What about that one?
I'd watch Kraven the Hunter before I watch Madam Web.
Yeah, Kraven was yeah. I wasn't big into it, but you know. You get that one scene with
Rhino transformation was terrible.
You get one screaming.
Related question. Related question, which would you rather rewatch? Madam Web or Morbius?
Morbius.
I choose Madam Web because Morbius, they're both, I hate them both, right? But at least Madam Web has like the stupid scene. There's like more stupid scenes that I can laugh at it and make fun of, while Morbius is just boring.
See, I liked Morbius. I didn't think Morbius was that bad.
I'd watch
it. You're in a Morbin time, guy.
There must be something wrong with me because I'm like, yeah, Turtles isn't bad, you know. Yeah, Morbius is
You're the one that started that meme, right? That was you.
I wish.
I'd watch Eternals before I watched Morbius.
Yeah, I'd pick Eternals over Morbius. Yeah.
No.
But I'm a sucker for cosmic stuff. Like my big thing with Eternals of why I like it is the celestial stuff. If it wasn't the celestial stuff in that movie, then I'd agree. Like, get it out of here.
See,
but because of the
Eternals, so here is a positive thing that I can say about Eternals, because there isn't much that I can say positive about the movie. At least we got the cool celestial head in the ocean.
Yeah. And then we get to see more of it in Captain America with adamantium, and then maybe they'll touch upon that in Doomsday, hopefully.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Or not. It's just a throwaway thing.
Hold on. Steve number 2 is saying I lost him on something. I'm not sure what thing that I lost him on, as I've said a lot of things. But
who lost you on what?
Yeah. Matthew's here saying Madam She-Hulk Web. That sounds terrible. And
Madam
then
Web
it's Madam Web.
Ron, are you a Madam Web fan? Are you a Madam Web apologist?
I hate the movie, but if given a choice, you know.
See, that's the thing, though, was I just had I don't know why I was so like I need to go see this movie, but I felt that way, and I went to go see it, and it was like I just suffered, and
You
yeah.
know, this is feeling like an episode of Rebel Nerd Radio, because how did we go from Secret Wars to Trash and Madam Web?
Well, Madam Web is obviously going to appear in Secret Wars.
Madam Web is going to be
Oh,
the
no.
big bad in Doomsday.
Yes, Madam Web is taking the role of Molecule Man.
Because you gotta give your audience an antagonist that they can hate.
Yes, there you go. You don't want your lovable antagonist of
Yeah, you want a character that they can hate, and that would definitely hit that mark.
exactly.
Okay.
We have Madam Web.
You know who Molecule Man reminds me of in the comic Upside Down, and kind of like his outfit, Nightcrawler. So maybe Nightcrawler could be Molecule Man.
Steve is saying it's my Morbius take. All right. I lost Steve on the Morbius take. All right.
You lost him on the Morbius take, yeah.
Fair enough.
See, the thing I remember, well, okay. Yeah, the thing I remember most about watching Morbius, and I saw it in the theater. Jesus Christ. No, the thing I remember.
How else would you watch it?
Yeah, well, it is on streaming, isn't it?
No, yeah.
No, the thing I remember about sitting in the theater watching Morbius is that I fell asleep. But I only fell asleep for like 5 minutes. But
That's a vital 5 minutes you missed.
when I woke up, it was the main battle scene at the end.
Oh
wow! So
I'm
you,
like,
the third
I
act is when you fell
I
asleep.
almost missed the big bad. But, yeah.
My experience with seeing Morbius is that my theater couldn't play Morbius. So I literally went there. They're like, something's wrong with our projection system. Let us restart it. So they ran through it all
No,
again.
you don't have to.
And it just broke. So the funny thing about Morbius, and it took me over a year to actually end up watching the movie. But the whole joke with it was that Morbius was so bad that they couldn't even play the movie. So that's my theater experience with Morbius, which I remember definitely pissed me off because it's like
you got lucky.
I got. I think what got me to watch Morbius was actually it was last year. Was I felt the need to watch Morbius before going to watch Madam Web. It was literally within the week of seeing Madam Web, I went to go watch more. I sat down to watch Morbius. So.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my Morbius experience. All right. Anyway, I don't know. We've been off the Secret Wars.
I am noticing something, Spencer. We had decided to make the episode shorter.
I have noticed this. We've gone on a lot of tangents.
You say 1 hour?
We were going to try to do 1 hour, and we failed miserably.
Yes, we did. We'll see. But thank you all, everybody, so much for sticking around. It's been a great time. Lots of laughs here at the end, which has been absolutely hilarious.
Can we talk about Back to the Future now?
Yep.
We did that on Rebel Nerd Radio.
Yeah, you literally just did. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a whole series. God, when was that? That was this month, wasn't it? Or
what, this month, last month?
I mean, it was really recent.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did the part 3 on April 1st because the episode after that was our Andor season 1 retrospective.
I need to start rewatching that. I'm slacking.
Just watch the third act, the best part.
That whole show is great.
Anyway, yeah, I don't think we don't have anything else concerning Secret Wars, do we? We've been off of that for a long time, so
unless you want to talk about Namor and Black Panther teaming up.
You know what? I did like that. Namor and Black Panther teaming up was really cool. Because in the comics they've been like just big enemies of each other, arch enemies of each other. And so seeing them team up, I thought was a unique dynamic. And also, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up because we have the big thing with Black Panther wielding the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
So that was a big thing.
They definitely, I think they should bring that back somehow, the Infinity Gauntlet. And then, I'm also thinking about, with Fantastic Four, how you're gonna have Galactus. So I'm thinking in Doomsday, Galactus might have an appearance, because in the comics, Galactus, he's just chilling, and then you got Franklin sitting on top of his head. So
you know who I thought that was at first? I thought that
Who?
was Human Torch's Galactus for a moment when I saw that, and I was like, "Is that who that's there?" And it obviously wasn't, but anyway. But yeah, no, there's lots of cool characters in it. Secret Wars is one of those comics that's just so massive and big. It's worth reading. So anybody that hasn't read Secret Wars, definitely worth checking out. Definitely worth reading. And something I'd like to bring up actually is there is a deal going on where you can get a month of, if you're not already subscribed to Marvel Unlimited, I believe it's a free month you can get. The deal ends on the 17th, if I remember right. By using promo code "Here is the thing," all in like one blurb there, and probably pull up the picture for it. But yeah. So anybody that doesn't already have Marvel Unlimited and would like to check it out for free, you can check it out that way. Oh, sorry, by April 16th you can do it. Or you can subscribe for 2 months. Half off by using Thing50. Hold on, where is it? But you get a free Thing skin in Marvel Rivals. But if you're also already subscribed, you'll get a code for that, anyways. So,
all right,
yeah, for any Marvel Rivals fans out there. So there we go. There we have it. Be sure to check out. Read more stuff. That's what I say.
Yes.
That's part of the thing too is I really like these digital services of it's really easy to visit anything that you want anytime. If there's like a big area of stories you want to take a peek into, but you don't feel like buying, such as for me recently, as I was just talking about, I was reading Excalibur. That's not necessarily a story I want to read, but I was curious about it, so I could go check it out there. You could also check out big stuff like Secret Wars there. But also the biggest thing that I really like about the services, same thing with DC and whatever, is I feel like it's a lot of times the best way you get to read the older stories, because sometimes those older series are so hard to track down and find, and they make it very easy to just go out there and find for the on those.
Yeah, like if you want to read the original Secret Wars.
Original Secret Wars, original Fantastic Four is a big reason why I even picked up Marvel Unlimited in the first place. Or original Fantastic Four, that's great, classic Stan Lee and classic Jack Kirby right there. Mm-hmm. So awesome stuff. So without further ado, I suppose that's it. Go check out Nerd Reactor, go check out Rebel Nerd Radio. We're not doing anything next week as it is Easter Sunday on 420, which is funny.
Gonna smoke and catch rabbits.
Yeah. We'll just say it'll be an interesting Easter for some families. But anyway, it'll be a good time. We're going to be taking off next week just because I'm sure I'll be busy, and I'm sure a lot of listeners will be busy as well, just because of family traditions and whatnot. Oh, what's that you got there? Leonardo?
Easter Bunny Leonardo.
Oh,
and
Easter Bunny. I didn't know those were a thing.
Michelangelo, yeah.
Look at that. That's awesome.
Got eggs in a basket.
There you go.
There you go.
That's awesome. That's fantastic.
4.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, that's awesome. All right. Anyway,
you don't have to take my word for it.
Oh my gosh. All right. Anyway, I'll see you all everybody later. We will be back in a couple weeks for, I think we're planning something Thunderbolts. So keep an eye out for whatever that is. Something Thunderbolts related. To be determined exactly what, but we're going to figure it out. Keep an eye out for that. So until next time, see you all later, everybody.